Headlines are one of the most powerful things that you can adjust, change, and get better results from in your copy. And writing headlines is a powerful way to improve your overall copywriting skills. But headlines are not enough. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. Maybe you have one of those headline books full of thousands of headlines, and you've been wondering how to make those headlines work to increase your sales and profits in your business. Perhaps you practice writing headlines, and it's easy for you to write headlines, but you're unsure about the body copy and how to put together a compelling offer. And by the way, you need a headline, opening paragraph, compelling bullet points, compelling offer. All of that has to work together because a headline alone does not generate sales. It does not produce leads. It does not get you results. But without the headline, you wouldn't have the attention of the prospect in order to deliver them to the offer that you're going to make. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about compiling headlines and then a few sample headlines and how to use them and why headlines are extremely valuable and you should always be testing them. So first off, using YouTube, Reddit, and other search engines, I've compiled a giant list, 100 headlines. And this list includes hand-selected headlines from top performing content. Now, this includes sales content, advertising, paid advertising, non-paid advertising, basically things that have some kind of user rating or some kind of means to to tell which is most important. Now, why does this matter? First off, if you're writing to a particular audience, you want headlines that capture their attention. So for example, on Reddit, if you post something on Reddit, that can't be really a sales headline, the usual formulas of headlines, because people will downvote it. It has to be a compelling headline that takes the reader from where they are today, which is scrolling page after page, into actually reviewing something, actually reading something, actually engaging with the content. Now, again, engagement alone is nothing, but if you don't have the reader's attention, you don't have the opportunity to bring them into your overall materials. And that's why in today's program, we're going to talk about how to look at and use these particular headlines. So I compiled this list, and these headlines, again, are from videos, landing pages, and content with a high user engagement or a high user upvote. And I've tailored them for a variety of audiences because, of course, subscribers here have a broad range of businesses. So let's get into those headlines. Let's talk about this headline right here, From Employee to Seven-Figure Entrepreneur. Now, one thing I did when I compiled these headlines, I didn't write them exactly the way they were because I want to make them formulaic. And also, some of these headlines that were used for campaigns may actually be copyrighted, meaning it may have intellectual property protection. So again, this could be from homeless loser living under a bridge to real estate millionaire. You can plug it in. So the formula is, pay close attention, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen. The formula is from previous state to desired future state. So how do you use this headline? This is a transformational movement headline. This is taking you from where the prospect is today to where they want to be in the future, or it can describe a specific person's transformation. So you might be describing yourself, if you're the expert, from homeless loser living under a bridge, or from down on his luck, broke entrepreneur to $1 million business owner. Do you see how that works? We're going from a negative state to a positive future state. So if you are selling to an audience, perhaps college loan support information or college scholarship support, you might have a headline, From Confused High School Student to Successful College Graduate Without Student Loans. So you can supplement the without there or those types of things in order to say, look, my solution can help you go from X to Y without this discomfort. So that's the formula. Now your opening paragraph will tease the benefit of the transformation from entrepreneur to seven-figure from employee to 7-figure entrepreneur. Now you can cover positive and negative state. Well, as an employee, the boss is bossing you around all the time. You're constantly worried about getting laid off. But as a 7-figure entrepreneur, you're going to have time freedom. You're going to be able to work from anywhere in the world. You're going to be able to have all of what you're looking for. How about this headline? Same formula. And we're going to put at the end of the formula a time frame. From frumpy divorced woman to smoking hot cougar in an afternoon. Now, see, that kind of headline could be used for cosmetic services. It could be, hey, look, you're divorced and now you're looking for new relationships, new opportunities, or even just some fun. And you're a little kind of up in age, but we've got methods to refresh, to lift lines, accentuate your positives. And the procedure only takes the afternoon. So that could sell Botox, cosmetic surgery, or a variety of other things. Now, again, the headline has to get attention. If you call somebody a frumpy divorced woman, they are going to be offended. But if they see themselves as frumpy and divorced and, they're just not meeting the right people and they kind of feel a little bit out of it, but they want to be a smoking hot cougar, that implies we're looking for an older audience, then they will likely raise their hand and move forward. Now, your opening paragraph is going to, of course, tease the benefit of the transformation. As a smoking hot cougar, imagine yourself walking into your usual hangout, but finally being noticed. Men walk up to you, want to buy you a drink. Can you see how you're selling the benefit of the transformation? And finally, you may have to describe a few actions that are necessary. So the audience may not see themselves as a frumpy divorced woman. They may only be a divorced woman. They may be only frumpy. But you ultimately want to connect with where they're at and say, look, maybe you're not frumpy. Maybe you're just divorced. But you don't feel like the sexy woman that you really are because there are, and then you can name out the obstacles. What do they believe the obstacles are? Because you're working so hard now that you only have one income and you don't really have the time to get out and interact with folks. But what if there were a few little steps you could take in your cosmetics routine that would take you from frumpy, not feeling so good about yourself, to sexy, smoking hot cougar. And then you show before and after pictures. Do you see how this works? And so you can even cover some of the beliefs, some of the things that are holding people back on that previous state. So confused high school student. So from confused high school student to successful college graduate without student loans. Well, that could sell to the parents. And they say, look, your kid doesn't know if they want to go to college or not. So please don't take out those student loans. In fact, student loans are a huge trap. Here are the problem A with student loans, problem B with problem C. But did you know there's a way that even your confused high school student can be a successful college graduate without student loans? And so it could be a pitch for a community college. It could be a pitch for some kind of scholarship program or support to find scholarships. See, it's a formula from this to that, from previous state to desired future state. All right, we're going to cover one more. People are realizing how crazy and loony the left really sounds. Okay, so this was a headline on a news report, and it had lots of traffic on it. And again, that traffic is the visitor engaging, but it doesn't necessarily mean they watch the video. You have to have good opening paragraph, a good hook in there to get them to read more. So what's the formula? Well, the formula is who are realizing how negative state and then some kind of enemy group really sounds. So let's do this formula in a different way. Entrepreneurs are realizing how unfair and oppressive big technology really sounds. So when you see a news story and the big tech is saying, look, we need free speech online, but you really feel like you're shadow banned, then, or they say, hey, we need free speech online, but we need somebody to make sure the quality of speech is good. Well, who determines the quality? Who determines what is filtered and what is not? That sounds unfair. And if they're going to impose upon you their belief system, that's even oppressive. So this headline confirms a belief that your audience has. So the who is your audience. So if young men are realizing how demanding and petty single women really sound, maybe this is a dating site, for example. So the opening paragraph, young men are realizing how demanding and petty single women really sound. Discover an effective approach for finding quality Christian singles or Jewish singles or Muslim singles. Can you see how this works? It's the feeling, the state, the oppression, the first response of how somebody feels this enemy is and how to overcome it. You're going to tell the big story about why the enemy is this way. Why do single women sound demanding and petty? Well, because in a TikTok culture, they can show their boobs online and suddenly get lots of admiration and respect and really shallow encouragement to do more and be more risque. But you're looking for more of a traditional woman who doesn't do these things and has higher self-esteem, has a certain belief system. So you see how we're going to take that enemy, we're going to take that other group, and we're going to expand on why are they that way? Why does the left sound crazy and loony? Well, is it because they're overly emotional and they don't care about facts? Or are they, on drugs or whatever? But the point of it is now you've touched on that enemy and why do they sound this way and what's the problem with that? And now you're raising this person up as who's going to fight this. And in fact, you're going to take them by the hand and you're going to help them fight this unfair and oppressive big technology. And you're going to help entrepreneurs finally succeed in an environment that's against them because you know some tips and tricks. You know some ideas. I have another headline here under the same formula. Smart investors realize how insane and disconnected the Federal Reserve really sounds. And now my subhead, what Alan Greenspan and Janet Yellen have in common that will wipe out your retirement in this economy. So this is an older investor that you're trying to reach. And they're concerned about their retirement and they're concerned about the Federal Reserve raising rates. Now, what's great about this is when you say they realize this, you can tie this to local news. So you can focus their realization on something the audience believes, but now you're going to expand on it and you're going to share how dangerous it is. That they've noticed something and they are right in where they need to be. And it's a weird feeling that they have because they're observing this and they know it's happening. And if only you could help them find the truth. And you're going to show them how to find the truth. Now, I have 100 of these headlines, by the way, and it's not quite in a report format. I'm scrolling through it. But if you like this kind of formula, I would like to invite you to be a part of this is a pre-launch. And I'd like to invite you to submit the headlines that you think are powerful. And you're going to visit www.adbriefings.co.uk. Go to the contact page and you're going to submit. And this particular project is called 100 Headlines. Okay. So you're just going to mention 100 headlines and you're going to provide a few headlines that you believe are powerful headlines. And I will actually, they're probably already in my list because there really aren't that many headlines, but ultimately I will put them in a formula. And then I will show you how to use them. And I'll give you one more example before we leave. Actually, it's the sudden realization of setback headline. But together, what we're going to do is cooperatively write these little excerpts. I'll compile it into a report. By the way, it's just going to be a manuscript. I'm not going to make a fancy, pretty report. And if you do ask for more information about the 100 headlines, I'll include you on a mailing list. And so as these headline sets are finished, I'll get them to you so you can start using them right away. Now, I know a lot of folks are going to send in a lot of headlines. Just please, 1 or 2 headlines. And then ultimately, I will compile only 100. Now, frankly, I have headline binders and reports and other materials here. I can go through and create 100 headlines. In fact, I create 200 to 300 headlines every time I write a lead generation piece or I write a sales letter. And why is that important? Well, all these headlines give me ideas to involve and hook the reader's attention and then introduce them to different points. So let me give you the sudden realization headline. By the way, you can also ask questions when you visit the website at www.adbriefings.co.uk. So here's the sudden realization of setback headline formula. What a mess. CPA destroys my tax return. Can you kind of feel the anger there? What a mess. CPA destroys my tax return. Okay, so here's the formula. What a mess, question mark. And now you have the who. Who is destroying this? Who is wrecking this stuff all up? And then finally, something of value. So here's another one. What a mess. Biden's Build Back Better destroys the stock market. Okay? You can say, what a mess. President Trump's tariff of Canada destroys lumber prices. Now, it's easy. What a mess. Plumber destroys house causing $10,000 in damage. Do this before you hire a plumber. What you want is someone who will care for your home like you would. So there's a 12 things you do before you buy type of follow on that. So really, it's every prospect has put effort into something and then had it all taken away by someone else's dumb decision. Your sales copy is about talking about the problem. Why is it a problem that the tax return is destroyed? And you tell the story. What a mess. CPA destroys my tax return. There was a day that I decided to have another CPA look over my tax return and realize my previous CPA missed deductions, missed opportunities. You could be a CPA yourself we were doing an audit for a high income client. And we realized that their CPA, what a mess, their CPA destroyed their tax return. And then you describe what was destroyed. They didn't take the child care deduction because they thought they earned too much money. They didn't write off their mortgage interest. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. And just how could this happen? Well, it can happen because the person didn't know the 5 things necessary before you hire a CPA. So the what a mess headline is... Now, again, you can do some word substitution here, but it's the sudden realization of a setback. What a mess. Husband's lawyer wrecks divorce settlement. Now, that's a newsy type of headline. And now why is that important? So what? So what? We're going to answer the so what. Now he has to pay extra child support, lost the house, and has no visitation rights. Now, you can, of course, again, destroys can be replaced by wrecks, obliterated, but it's a very emotional destruction. This person works so hard and all this emotion and meaning behind it, and then this other person destroys it. So now you have the rest of your sales piece is about getting the people back on their feet. So the big theme here is somebody ought to know better about this terrible mistake. And if you do these things, you will avoid these mistakes. And of course, you can use reprints of the actual news stories. So I've given you 3 right now. There are 100 total. I want a little bit of engagement here. I want you to go out to my website, www.adbriefings.co.uk. 1 or 2 headlines is fine. Be sure you mention 100 headlines. So you're going to mention the words 100 headlines. That's a keyword. So my assistant knows that the headlines you give me are like a key that are unlock the door. We're going to put you on a list and you're going to be able to get kind of drip to these headlines until I have 100 of these little write-ups finished. And then when 100 of these write-ups are finished, I will give you a PDF file that is going to be basically, you set it out in front of you while you're writing your sales letters, and you can take each headline and go from headline to opening paragraph to bullet points to offer. Because it's like building blocks. And of course, again, the headline itself gets the attention. But if you don't go from intention, interest to desire to action, then you've just lost them at the headline. How many times have you seen a headline grab your attention, you click the link, and then you bail out of the article because it's not hooking you, it's not holding you? Again, that's why I'm going to write this 100 headlines formula. Go to the website, go to the contact page, and this is only open until the report is done. Once the report is done, it will be available on our sales catalog for sale, because again, this is extremely powerful. It's like Cliff Notes that helps write your sales letters for you. You go from a headline formula to some insights about what to include to reinforce that headline. Because again, what attracted them was the headline. And if they go to the headline and it doesn't keep their attention, then you've lost their attention. And how are you going to make an offer to somebody who's not there anymore? And again, I do some variations in here, and I'm having a lot of fun with this. In fact, I'm going to keep working on it, even though I've just recorded this podcast and wanted to make sure you knew this project was going. But if you like to see this, here's another headline, by the way. Real profits, over 30 business models for plumbers. Okay, this formula, and I'm going to have to leave after this, but this formula is real. And then what is the desired outcome? And by the way, in the report, I have a little fill in the blanks. So, and I'm not sure. I'll probably make this available to subscribers. Of course, private clients are going to get this right away once it's complete. But it's probably going to be $97 to $197. Of course, if you ask your question about the 100 headlines or you submit 1 or 2 headlines, I'll give it to you for free. So here's the formula. Real desired result is what you're going to fill in the blank over, and then what's the count? And then what are you creating? And then who are you creating it for? So here, let me just finish right here with this. Real financial security, over 12 stocks for even amateur investors. Anyway, I'm kind of excited about this, so I'm going to finish writing here. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. We're here to help you write better copy, to make more sales, and to grow your copywriting business. Now, whether you're going to use this report with your clients or you're going to use it to kind of shortcut the writing, like I use it for, is to shortcut my writing and make it be able to write that first draft faster, visit the website at www.adbriefings.co.uk. Go to the contact page and mention 100 headlines. I'll see you in the next episode.